Captain's 3 months old, and we really want Captain to get trained, house trained. In addition to learn some basic commands. He already has sit, but basic commands. And that's really primarily the reason. House training and some basic commands.
Okay. Shannon, would you like to add something?
Nothing other than I'm going to miss him.
I did think of one thing. He tends to, even though he loves playing with his toys, he tends to also want to chew a lot on human flesh. So I don't know to break that habit.
Oh yeah,
That happens often.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a basic foundation that you're looking for.
Correct.
To basically make sure that housebreaking is good and secure, and you're looking for a good sit-stay, okay, and come to be reinforced, correct? Okay. All right, wonderful.
Sit, okay. Well, we never repeat the command, of course, but the captain doesn't know how to sit, he doesn't know how to wait at the door, obviously he's straining, pulling, so I'm going to let him go, I don't want to choke him. Of course, he would walk out of the door very calmly, not pulling. I'd have him sit again here, which does not mean to jump on me, of course. Okay. I'm going to walk Captain up to the person that we're going to practice a greeting routine with. I have him sit maybe 6 or 8 feet away. He's got to stay in a sit-stay. I walk over to the person, and Captain is losing focus. Now he's back. Okay, give that person a treat. Walk back to Captain, and he waits until I pat his chest and say, go say hi. And he goes over there, gets a treat. I say, come. Comes back to me. Good. Whoa, he's slipping. We just hose the yard down because it's so hot here. Sit. So it's a little bit slippery and wet. So we'll just do this a few times. It's a great exercise to do with any dog, but especially a dog that has a problem with overstimulation, overexcitement. When somebody new comes in through the door, or somebody comes home from work or something like that, he'll get excited by anybody, of course. You got the sit stay, you've got the waiting to be released, go say hi, you've got not jumping, come. You've got your come command, which he does even before I say come, because we practice this so many times. He just knows, he goes over, gets petted, gets a treat, and then he runs back to me. And that's what you want with a dog that formerly would just jump all over people like he was. Just jumping all over people and being out of control, and everybody saying, Captain, off, and leave it, and Captain, no, and him just getting more excited because you're talking to him and giving him energy for that behavior. Now you have a way to control him in those situations. Let's say that the person that he's greeting doesn't remember to get down there and pet him, because if you stand there like this and just watch him, he's going to jump sooner or later, and then you're going to touch him and push him away. That's what perpetuates that behavior. But, if you can just instruct your friends and family to always be down there to meet him, to pet him, you'll have way less jumping. But let's say somebody forgets or somebody won't do it, you still have your come command. Sit. And just hold on to his leash, okay? Hold on to the leash. Go and pet him. Hold on to the leash, pet him, hold on to the leash. There you go. So let's say he's jumping all over somebody. Come. You just call him back to you. Good. And I'm pretending, well, I have a treat in this case right now, in this target hand, but when you don't have a treat, just pretend like you have one. He'll always come to this closed hand. He doesn't know it's empty. That's why we practice with a treat. Every time we practice with a leash during our little practice sessions, we're always set up for success, because when there's no leash and there's no treat, this empty hand, come, backing away, come, just like that. Good boy. He'll always come to that, and just because you don't have a treat in a situation like that ever happens, just give him extra attention, extra love, and he'll barely miss the treat. Okay. We always have Captain sit before we send him to the mat. And notice how the leash is loose. I'm not holding him there, and I'm not doing this. It's just loose. If he does get up before you release him, just do a little tap and say no, and he'll go back. So the leash is loose. With my right hand, I'm going to lean over, pat his chest, and say, go to your mat, walk him over, and say down. If he doesn't go down right away, just help him. So I just applied a little bit of pressure with my left foot. I didn't repeat it. And usually he'll go straight down there, but of course when we're filming and there's the camera person here, you never know. You never know what the dog is going to do at that moment. But he's got a good solid stay. And you can just practice this. And you saw I just walked around both ways, rewarding him for the stay. Nope. Make sure he really waits. Good, until you place the food or the reward on the mat and withdraw. And I'll do it a few more times so you can see what it looks like. And after you do this every day and you do it for a couple minutes at a time, you see that after you've done it for a few minutes, he starts to calm down. Now we have somebody that's going to walk into the room, and so in order to, come on in order to keep him down, you give him a much bigger pile of treats. You better come in now. Come. And show the person to your right, or you can walk this way so the camera can catch you. Good. And see how I kept him down? I didn't step on the leash. I didn't force him down. I just gave him rewards, which kept him in a down while that distraction passed by. That was a person he knows and he likes a lot. And usually if he was free in this yard, he would jump up and run over there to the gate when he came into the gate. Good. So that was a big distraction. So you see how to deal with distractions. If he pops up, no. Stand on that leash. Just make sure he goes back. No treats until he goes back. No. Good. Into that down. And then you continue the little exercise. He thinks it's a game. So in his mind, this is a little game we're playing. He stays there no matter where I go, no matter what I do. As long as he stays there and doesn't get up until I release him, he gets paid. Good. You see how he's starting to wait now? It's very important that you reward just like this. Good. You see, if you move slowly and calmly, he'll be slower and calmer. And he's a very hyper little dog, puppy, as you know. And so we want to do these exercises because the byproduct of how we do these is when we release him and he's on free time, he is calmer 24/7. Good. So the whole point is that you do it in a way. It's about how you do it. It's not about, oh yeah, practice a downstay. Anybody can do that. It's about how you do it. It's about how you put him there. It's about how you release him. It's about how you practice it during that downstay, what you do, how you test him. Before I finish, I want to try something that in the past he's had a problem with. And he'll probably make a mistake because I want to show you how to correct a mistake and get him past a mistake and have him have a success. So in the past, it's been really hard for me to pull on this leash. Oh, he's not going to make a mistake now. Well, we have practiced this. So he was successful. Good. So when I first started practicing that, like most dogs, you pull on the leash and he gets up and comes towards you. But now, and I'm pulling kind of hard now, to the point where it almost got uncomfortable. You saw how you kind of grabbed at the leash. Nope. If he tries to touch your hand or grab the treat, you have to say no and pull it back. Good. Now he knows that no matter what I do or what happens to maybe trigger him to pop up, he can't get up until I release him in a very specific way. So let's pretend he made a mistake, which he's not making mistakes now. I'm going to release him and pretend that he popped up on his own. Okay. So let's say he got up. I did something. He stood up. The way to put him back is if he stays on the mat like that and doesn't leave the mat, you just say no. And you just come over and you, with your left foot, I pivot onto my right foot with your left foot. Just apply a little bit of pressure on the leash and it'll go back down. If he leaves the mat, let's say you go out your front door and come back, or something that's really hard for him to handle. Okay. And he's free like this. Stay calm. You come in, you see that like you've left the room or something, he's just wandering around or he's following you. And you're gonna have to pick up the leash. You're gonna say no. Don't yell, just say no. Step into him, gently but firmly. Just put him back, set him back where you want him to be. Apply some pressure on the leash and put him back. Don't say down, you already said down once. We want that first down to hold for several minutes if need be. So that's what you do if he does make a mistake. And you may, whatever you're doing, you may have to reset him several times in a row. If it seems like it's too difficult for him to handle, then maybe don't walk as far away, or do something like, if you're knocking on the door, instead of knocking 5 times, knock twice or knock once. Try to get some sort of success. Nope. 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 Good. Sorry, sunscreen just got in my eyes. It's really hot today. So I couldn't even see what I was doing with him. So if he's making mistakes over and over with whatever you're trying to do, maybe it's a little bit too much for him to do at that moment. Back it up and make that, whatever you're doing, a little bit easier so he can end on a success, and every day do a little bit more and build up to the part where he kept making a mistake, because maybe it's too much too soon. But that's how I've been practicing with him with everything. If he made mistakes and he wasn't ready to do something, I just made it simpler, just so that we could end on a success. And every day I built on that, and that made him better and better as time went on. And you can see he's got a pretty good little downstay, and he's waiting for me to release him. The only way he leaves this mat, after you're done with whatever you're gonna do, come back next to him. He's on your left, pat your leg and say, okay. He's gonna come off of that mat. You say sit. You always release him this way. Sit, pat his chest, and say go. And he's free. You're always gonna pick this mat up right away, because he's gonna wanna go hang out on it. And it's not a doggy bed. It is only for this exercise. It's a very exclusive spot. This mat exercise is an interactive exercise that you do with the dog, obviously. You do it exactly the way I did it here. You don't put him on the mat and walk away and forget about him for 20 minutes. It's not the same. It's very clear, like I said earlier on in this little clip, it's how you do it that matters. So if you only have 3 minutes, do it at in a quality way. And quality time, short periods of quality time are worth way more than long periods of mediocre practicing. So always remember that. Okay. Sit. We never repeat the command, and we never say stay, because stay is built into sit. And so we just practice longer and longer sits without releasing him. And you saw I just walked around both ways like that. He stayed there. He's waiting for you to come back next to him to get him, which is the only safe way to do this, especially out in the real world, out in public. And see how I reward him? Eye contact, straight down. Good. And he's literally looking at me in the eyes as he takes that reward. Don't go like this. The hand just arrives out of nowhere, and he kind of eats out of it like it's a trough. Make sure that he's looking at you when he gets the treat, and say good at the same moment you give him the treat. It's much more powerful than the other way. And you see he's still in the stay. And this time I'm going to do a little bit of a wider stay. I want him to make a mistake, which he might make. He's really doing well for a hyper little terrier puppy. He's only 5 months old or so. So he's doing very well. Oh, that was very, very good. He gets another reward. Eye contact, good. And see how I go straight down there? If you hover over him for even a split second, he's going to jump up. So the reward is good. You have to go down to where he is, or else he'll jump up to try to get it. Remember that. And he's waiting to be either released like this, which is still on the clock in work mode, okay, to walk with you, or he's waiting to be released, sit, out of work mode. And you see also, and I forgot to mention earlier when I first started this little sit, a little clip, I applied just a little bit of pressure when I said SIT, just a little bit. As soon as his butt hit the ground, I released it. I didn't jerk and give up and try and do this. It's just continuous tension. His butt hit the ground, I release it. Make sure you always do it like that. So he's the other way to release him out of a sit. If you're not going to have him walk with you in a training mode, which is walking next to you, you're going to just with your right hand pat his chest and say, "Go," and then that tells him that he's free. He's on free time, and he's off the clock. Okay. Now I want to show you how I've been practicing the come command. I'm going to create a distraction by tossing a piece of chicken over there. He goes and it's right there. There you go. Come. Calling him away from it. Good. You see how I backed away? I had that little target hand. He came to it. His nose touched it. I opened it and said, good. I'll do it a few more times. And I've been practicing out in public as well, but I think I'd like you to just do this in your yard, in your house, just to get a feel for doing the the backing away. Go. Here, right there. Come. Good. Notice how the left hand is free because the leash is over your wrist. So left hand leash, right hand reward. And so when he comes to you, if you got the leash on, you can grab the leash. Or if you didn't have a leash on and it's an emergency and you had to call him from something, your hand hooks underneath the collar. Always do one of those two things because he'll very quickly learn that he can grab the treat and run off again. And that defeats the whole purpose of coming to you. So make sure that your left hand secures him, your right hand's for the reward. Let's do it one more time. Look right there. Look, there's stuff on the ground. Look at that. Calling away from something. Come. Good. And when you back away, when they're coming to you, when you move away, they're drawn to you and they're more likely to run to you. If you practice that way every time, and all he knows is hundreds of times, which you can call him to come to you hundreds of times in 1 month, hundreds of times in a row, all he does is run to you because of the way you do it. Later on, he'll just run to you every time. You can stand still, he'll run to you because that's how you taught him. So it's all about how you do it and how you teach him that makes it great instead of just mediocre. Okay. Come on. Sit. You always have Captain sit before you send him in the crate. See how he's waiting? The leash is loose. I'm going to open the door. Go in the crate. And we're in the yard here. He never has ever gone into the crate in the yard. He's used to going into the crate in the house, so I had to help him a little bit. But see what I did? I put him in there. I gave him a treat when he went in there. I took the collar off. I closed the door. The collar. I'm going to hang the collar on the door. Right now, the association with this crate is all positive. He goes in there right before I close the door. He gets a treat, like you saw me just do. If I'm going to take him out, treat. And I've taught him to wait to be allowed to come out. And if he waits, he gets more treats. Good. Always put your hand in there. Make sure he's taking the treat in there. Don't let him stick his head out and give him a treat. If he tries to come out before you release him, just do these little token kind of door closes like that. I'm not making contact with his face. I'm just kind of giving him a signal to wait. And then when he does do it successfully, treat. Good. I have this little prong collar, this tiny prong collar we're using. You see throughout the videos how I'm using it. It's not being used to cause pain. It's just being used to control him so he's not pulling you. It certainly makes it a lot easier for a novice, for the owners that haven't done this before, to handle him rather than him just pulling on his regular collar. So I'm using that little prong collar. It really helps you control him. All I did was I took it off the door, I connected it to the leash, and then I just put it on him. So that's all ready to go inside there. By the way, he sleeps in there overnight. He's got a nice blanket, very comfortable little place in there. I give him Bones and Chewies in there as well. Anything that's special to him, he gets in his crate. He eats in his crate. The doors close when he's in, and the doors close when he's out. So you control his access in and out of his den. This is his den in his mind. And in his mind, good. All kinds of good stuff happens in there. So we're never putting him in when we're angry or we're frustrated with him. We're never using it as a punishment. Nope. And we're always controlling the boundary to make sure that he waits. Okay. to be allowed to come out like that. And then always close his door. And I'm going to send him in one more time just to show you. So let's say we took him out, he's been outside, brought him back, sit. An hour later, we're going to have him sit. Now I have a little treat in my hand because I think maybe you'll need this. A little treat. Go, toss it in there, and he'll follow it in there. See, now that he's used to going in there, he's okay with it. He turns around, he gets another little treat. I take this little collar off. It's very easy to do. Close the door, hang the collar on the door, and then he can stay in there for a little while until you take him out the next time.